Magdalene has been a symbol for Christian penitence for almost 2,000 years. She's often been confused with other women named Mary in the Bible, but Mary Magdalene was quite a unique character on her own. Here's the truth about Mary Magdalene. The image of Mary Magdalene most people have in their heads comes from centuries of misinformation. If you know anything about her, it's that she was a prostitute who left her sinful ways behind to follow Jesus. But the prostitute in Luke's gospel who washes Jesus' feet with her hair doesn't actually have a name, and there's no reason to think it was Mary Magdalene. And no one probably ever would have conflated the two, but then Pope Gregory jumped in. Based on pretty much nothing at all, he decreed that 3 people mentioned in various parts of the Bible were actually the same person: the nameless prostitutes, Mary the sister of Lazarus, and Mary Magdalene. It wasn't until 1969 that the Catholic Church admitted they got it wrong, and those women were really 3 different people. Current biblical scholarship paints a very different picture of Mary Magdalene, one that is trickling down into the public consciousness through films like 2019's Mary Magdalene. The Independent called her, quote, a feminist figure. She came from a thriving fishing village and appears to have been an extraordinarily independent woman for her time, indicating she probably had a high social status. Unlike most women in the Gospels, she isn't identified by her relationship to a father or a brother. She's just Mary, following Jesus because she wants to. It's theorized she even had her own money and probably supported Jesus financially in some way. Far from the lowly penitent she's been portrayed as throughout history, she was a strong, important disciple whose name and reputation were belittled by men in power with an agenda.
I will not be silent.
If you're familiar with the Gospels, you may have noticed that a lot of the time they don't agree on things. When you compare them, they seem to often tell very different versions of the same story. But one thing that is consistent across all 4 Gospels is the importance of Mary Magdalene. While many of the apostles barely get name-checked in the Gospels or even are missing entirely, Mary Magdalene appears in all 4 Gospels. Both Mark and Luke say she started following Jesus after he cast some demons out of her, and all 4 Gospels agree she was present at Jesus' crucifixion, burial, and resurrection. This last bit is where she emerges as a hugely important figure. Mark and John claim she alone was the first person to see Jesus return, while Matthew and Luke have her as part of a small group of women. Either way, she is also the first person to tell people that Jesus had risen, leading to the tradition of calling her the Apostle of the Apostles.
For that hour or 2, Mary Magdalene was the only one who knew about the resurrection, and so Mary Magdalene was the church.
The fact that Mary Magdalene is singled out as having this unbelievably significant role across 4 books that are rarely so consistent really singles her out. It makes her more than just a devoted follower. It indicates she was one of the first leaders of the Christian religion.
Hello.
Not every book about the life of Jesus and his disciples made it into the Bible. Some of them were even lost for centuries and just turn up randomly. According to the BBC, this happened in Cairo in 1896. A German scholar was shopping in a bazaar and came across a papyrus book bound in leather and written in Coptic. It turned out to be the Gospel of Mary. The author is unknown, but Time says scholars think it was written in the 2nd century or even earlier. The mysterious book isn't officially recognized by the church, so it's known as one of the apocryphal texts. Still, it tells an interesting story that makes Mary Magdalene's role even more significant. The story says Jesus was insistent his disciples should go preach his teachings to the world, but the men are scared they will be killed too. It's Mary who steps up and has to remind the apostles that Jesus will always be with them. She brings up a private conversation she had with Jesus and explains his teachings for them. Then some of the guys get mad. They can't believe Jesus would single out a woman like that, or that they should listen to her since she's just a chick. Peter, who would go on to be the first pope, even sees her as a rival for leadership. The point the gospel hits home is that Mary Magdalene was the one disciple who really got Jesus. In the Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown introduced the world to the theory that Mary Magdalene and Jesus were married, but he certainly wasn't the first or the last person to speculate about their relationship. The problem is, the 4 official Gospels have a serious gap in Jesus' life. He goes from newborn to about 30 years old in a few lines. That leaves room for people to speculate about what he was doing in between. According to the authors of the 2014 book, The Lost Gospel, he got married to Mary Magdalene and they had 2 kids. The Daily Beast says the authors made this assertion based on a 6th century document called The Story of Joseph and Asenath. On the surface, the book is about the Old Testament figure with the Technicolor Dreamcoat, but the authors claim it's really about Jesus and Mary Magdalene, but the names changed so the original writer wouldn't be killed for what was revealed. Mainstream Christian scholars, though, have dismissed the book out of hand as a bunch of bunk. Leonardo da Vinci's fresco The Last Supper is a masterpiece. It's also given rise to some weird conspiracy theories about Mary Magdalene. All four of the Gospels include the story of Jesus' final meal, but none of them mention Mary Magdalene was there, just the 12 apostles. In Leonardo's painting, the character to Jesus' right is John, caught mid-swoon after learning one of them would betray Christ. He has long hair and a very feminine face. This has led some people, most famously author Dan Brown, to believe it wasn't actually John, but Mary Magdalene. But Leonardo depicted lots of very effeminate-looking dudes in his other paintings and drawings. Pretty guys were a hallmark of his work. Plus, including Mary Magdalene would have been heresy at a time when the Catholic Church was on an Inquisition bender. Da Vinci would have been risking a lot for no real reason. He was an inventor and an artist, not someone running around trying to challenge church teachings. Despite that, there's another theory Mary Magdalene is secretly in the Last Supper. The Telegraph says in 2007, an amateur scholar found her hidden figure by superimposing the fresco with its mirror image, then making them both partially transparent. He says this reveals a woman, Mary Magdalene, holding a baby, but no one else seems to be buying it. Mary Magdalene was associated with hair for a long time because of the church's conflation of her and the nameless prostitute who washed Jesus' feet and then dried them with her hair. This gave artists an excuse to draw her with exquisite locks, but somewhere along the line it took a weird turn. Daily Art magazine reports a legend grew that after she witnessed Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, Mary Magdalene went off into the wilderness. She spent years there all by herself, just fasting and praying. Obviously, she didn't have time to go shopping or even think about something as mundane and earthly as clothes, so eventually her clothes fell apart. In order to protect her modesty, God made her hair grow like crazy. Depending on which version you believe, this either meant her head hair grew crazy long or that her whole body grew thick hair like a wolf lady. For hundreds of years, artists depicted her both ways. But this story also gets Mary Magdalene confused with a different Mary. It was actually Saint Mary of Egypt who lived in the wilderness, but since the church seems to think everyone named Mary is the same person, the hairy Mary Magdalene legend grew.
Save on holiday gift cards and spa packages at Hand and Stone.
I be the boss, give me the sauce, baby.
Sorry, guys. Just gonna make a statement. I got his understanding of all his words that he's spoken. And one thing I want to make a point on is that all four gospels in our biblical holy Bible that we have do say Mary Magdalene was the first witness. So I'm gonna elaborate that on. I've already wrote my couple pages of key points that I'm gonna go over in a few scriptures, but I mainly want to stick to his. I've seen a lot of different documentaries and words and theories and different agendas of man tongue or what they say she was or what this says it was, and basically, I debark all of them, but the closest I've came to the just spitting the facts was this one, and I used it. Not saying everything that he said was accurate, but he was basically weighing the evidence. He spoke in weighing the evidence based on truth, not his feelings, not nothing. He even used other people quotes of what they said it was, just weighing the difference of theories and the evidence and formulating the truth. He never came to saying if he was a believer or not, or saying he did or not, or which story he actually do believe in. But he made it clear that it was an untold truth about Mary Magdalene. Okay, so I'm going to go over one more little glimpse of two women, I would say, that kind of made some great points. One didn't talk. It was a black woman that put a sister of Edom, or daughter of Edom, next to her and let Sister Edom, the daughter of Edom, or whatever you want to call them, white pale skinned woman, speaking a lot of truth in her words. And I'm going to elaborate on her words. She was saying the black woman stood still, didn't say nothing. She just made her video clip next to her face expressions. And that's all that needed to be understood, sister, because I know you know and I know. Long as we accord about that. But basically, this is what I'm going to I saved it for that reason. I came across it on Facebook, but a while back before, but I'm glad it popped up because it was like, dang, this actually is going to correspond with my channel and what I do. So I'm definitely going to elaborate more on this. But let me just play this 1 second. This is the only one I'm going to play today. I wasn't going to go over any more. I may finish Malcolm little speech, the other little 10 minutes the other day that I told y'all. It's been actually, I think, what, a month since I did the abortion, the family structure video. I told y'all every week for maybe an hour or two, but the way things go, I only work on the most high timing and order. So I have duties, mother duties. I homeschool my disabled son. I have a 1-year-old daughter. I'm currently, like I said, in the house type of woman now. I'm fully inside my house. I don't work outside of my home anymore. I may go out. I may in a couple months and do some things out of the home, but mainly for the past year and a half or so, I've been mainly in my home, being a home wife for right now. Then, contrary to what we got going on in the world anyway, it's good to be at home. So that's where I'm at with things. So it's not a matter of. All right, so that's the matter of the situation. So I'm mostly at home right now. So I'm definitely going to play this because.
Let me be clear. Incense, crystals, meditation, supernatural gifts, divination, numerology, and astrology, they're all in the Bible. Y'all don't believe in sage, but smudging is in the Bible. Y'all don't believe in altars, but you go to the altar when the pastor tells you to. Y'all don't believe in rituals, but devouring the blood and body of Christ. Y'all don't believe in psychics, but you pay prophets to speak in church. Y'all don't believe in spirits and possession, but you're at church catching the Holy Ghost. Y'all don't believe in the use of herbs, but you're covering your walls in holy oil, which is made with olive oil and herbs. Y'all don't believe in the law of attraction, but telling people to always speak things into existence. Y'all don't believe in spell work, but the entire Psalms is a book of.
So, basically, sister, basically.
Be clear. Incense, crystals, meditation, supernatural gifts, divination, numerology, and astrology, they're all in the Bible. Y'all don't believe in sage, but smudging is in the Bible. Y'all don't believe in altars, but you go to the altar when the pastor tells you to. Y'all don't believe in rituals, but devouring the blood and body of Christ.
Okay. That was, one of the white, pale skin, daughter of Edom. Or she could be a heathen because I made it clear in my bloodline videos, and I'm actually going to be working on, when I finish this live session, working on the summary, which is video 5, to give all the understanding through all the 5 things I did of the bloodline videos. I only do 5 of the bloodline videos because it was kind of a complementary subject outside of the biblical text, like a biology type of subject corresponding, which is like still corresponding with the scripture, because we all need to realize our reality. Without blood and a spirit and water, we cannot live in this temple. So in considering, hold on 1 second, my husband calling me. Okay, sorry about that. But anyway, basically, as I was saying, that yes, the Bible, sister Edom, daughter Edom, whatever you are. Honestly, I don't go by labels or titles, and like I said, that's why I did the bloodline videos, because I'm more well equipped and also understanding that it's deeper than the surface of flesh. So I am going to elaborate on your little words that you said, which you did say a lot of truth, and understanding that, because you know what your forefathers have conquered and came about to teach their children based off of the truth. But here's the deal. I have truth or is a lie. It's no such thing as even a lie being called the truth. Just as well as it's no such thing as telling a half truth. It has to be absolute. After the construct is complete, meaning absolute. It's no debarking it. It's no anything outside of it. It's not counsel. It's not void. It's not debarked. It is absolute truth. So, like I told you on one of my pictographs about manipulation is withholding information, which scientists do that, which the presses are through all the forms of pharmaceutical companies, the world organizations, and all throughout ideology schools. So let's not get caught up in the hype, in the delusion, and let's step back into reality for a second, because I'm gonna also be able to correct my nation through you guys knowledge or what y'all have came upon, and also through the spirit which existed before world wisdom, before fleshly mother, before the earth was formed womb. She was there in the beginning. Now, don't y'all see where I'm heading? I built upon context, levels to this. It's levels. And we got to get off this milk and get to eating some meat so we can get the proteins in our body flowing, and so we can get to a higher understanding of our beings and what Brother Yeshua brought from heaven into the world. Okay? So I thank Sister for not saying nothing, just letting it play of opposition of what they think of truth and what they choose to withhold, because they know ultimately they will have to emit his color. They will have to admit that the Messiah is a colored black man for his complexion. Like I said, I'm getting hyped up inside of that other stuff. I'm just going to leave it there. Complexion. And he did not create white women. They are not birthed from his loins. So, what would that say? What would that tell the world? What can we say now? Are you the mother wisdom? Daughter? No. You are the harlot. You take them to the slaughter. If you are ignorant on your purpose and what you were created to do for our opposition of when the sons of men do not want to obey their mother, okay, or obey their sister's guidance, okay. This is what happens. The Most High have told us he has created good and he has created evil for his purposes. Okay? Y'all may have destroyed majority of black women's faith in the earth, heritage, knowledge, their scarce wisdom, their understanding, their love, and have made them become just like you. So you can feel better about going to the pits for hell. So you need company. You want company. Misery loves company, as the old folks used to say. It's very true. So what I'm not going to do is play into that, because I am wise enough to know who I am. Regardless if you see me as the lowest of the dirt, no matter what you've done to my grandmothers and taking their children, stealing their husbands, sleeping with their husband, seducing their husbands, giving them strange food and fruits, that would not change the truth of our existence. And surely we will always live on through our children. So at the end of the day, this has to be exposed. This has to be made known, because the silence of women is really a crying out for the truth to be shown, for the truth to be spoke as she speaks in the high places. See, this is not no figurality, no literally of what you can walk outside and see her screaming, her crying, her saying the things that she feels passionate about. Okay, well, I know y'all get the point. But anyway, I'm going to let you let it hear from another perspective. But anyway, I'm going to finish the Malcolm X speech that I told you I was going to do on that specific video. But I said, you know what? I'm going to wait till I do the next one. So it'll just tie right on in, okay? So I'm going to let y'all listen to that.
The slave master took Tom and dressed him well and fed him well and even gave him a little education. Gave him a long coat and a top hat and made all the other slaves look up to him. Then he used Tom to control them. The same strategy that was used in those days is used today by the same white man. He take a Negro, so-called Negro, and make him prominent. Build him up. Publicize him. Make him a celebrity. And then he becomes a spokesman for Negroes and a Negro leader. I would like to just mention one thing else quickly, and that is the method that the white man uses, how the white man uses these big guns or Negro leaders against the Black Revolution. They're not a part of the Black Revolution. They're used against the Black Revolution. When Martin Luther King failed to desegregate Albany, Georgia, the civil rights struggle in America reached its low point. King became bankrupt almost as a leader. Plus, even financially, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was in financial trouble. Plus, it was in trouble, period, with the people when they failed to desegregate Albany, Georgia. Other Negro civil rights leaders of so-called national stature became fallen idols. As they became fallen idols, began to lose their prestige and influence, local Negro leaders began to stir up the masses. In Cambridge, Maryland, Gloria Richardson. In Danville, Virginia, and other parts of the country, local leaders began to stir up our people at the grassroots level. This was never done by these Negroes whom you recognize of national stature. They controlled you, but they never incited you or excited you. They controlled you. They contained you. They kept you on the plantation. As soon as King failed in Birmingham, Negroes took to the streets. King got out and went out to California to a big rally and raised about, I don't know how many thousands of dollars. Come to Detroit and had a march and raised some more thousands of dollars. And recall, right after that, Wilkins attacked King, accused King and the Corps of starting trouble everywhere and then making the NAACP get them out of jail and spend a lot of money. And then he accused King and Corps of raising all the money and not paying it back. This happened. I got it in documented evidence in the newspaper. Roy started attacking King, and King started attacking Roy, and Farmer started attacking both of them. And as these Negroes of national stature began to attack each other, they began to lose their control of the Negro masses. And Negroes was out there in the streets. They was talking about, we're going to march on Washington. By the way, and right at that time, Birmingham had exploded, and the Negroes in Birmingham, remember, they also exploded. They began to stab the crackers in the back and bust them upside the head. Yes, they did. That's when Kennedy sent in the troops down in Birmingham. So, and right after that, Kennedy got on the television and said, this is a moral issue. That's when he said he's going to put out a civil
That
rights
is
bill.
a more issue.
And when he mentioned civil rights bill and the Southern crackers start talking about they were going to boycott it or filibuster it, then the Negroes start talking about what? We're going to march on Washington, march on the Senate, march on the White House, march on the Congress, and tie it up, bring it to a halt. Don't let the government proceed. They even said they were going to go out to the airport and lay down on the runway and don't let no airplanes land. I'm telling you what they said. That was revolution. That was revolution. That was the black revolution. It was the grassroots out there in the street. Scared the white man to death. Scared the white power structure in Washington, D.C. to death. I was there. When they found out that this black steamroller was going to come down on the Capitol, they called in Wilkins. They called in Randolph. They called in these national Negro leaders that you respect and told them, call it off. Kennedy said, look, y'all letting this thing go too far. And old Tom said, boss, I can't stop it because I didn't start it. I'm telling you what they said. They said, I'm not even in it, much less at the head of it. They said these Negroes are doing things on their own. They're running ahead of us. And that old shrewd fox, he said, well, if you all aren't in it, I'll put you in it. I'll put you at the head of it. I'll endorse it. I'll welcome it. I'll help it. I'll join it. A matter of hours went by. They had a meeting at the Carlisle Hotel in New York City. The Carlisle Hotel is owned by the Kennedy family. That's the hotel Kennedy spent the night at 2 nights ago. Belongs to his family. A philanthropic society headed by a white man named Stephen Currier called all the top civil rights leaders together at the Carlisle Hotel and told them that by you all fighting each other, you're destroying the civil rights movement. And since you're fighting over money from white liberals, let us set up what's known as the Council for United Civil Rights Leadership. Let's form this council, and all the civil rights organizations will belong to it. And we'll use it for fundraising purposes. Let me show you how tricky the white man is. And as soon as they got it formed, they elected Whitney Young as the chairman. And who you think became the co-chairman? Stephen Currier, the white man. A millionaire. Powell was talking about it down at the Cobo today. This is what he was talking about. Powell knows it happened. Randolph knows it happened. Wilkins knows it happened. King knows it happened. Every one of that so-called Big Six. They know what happened. Once they formed it, with the white man over it, he promised them and gave them $800,000 to split up between the Big Six. And told them that after the march was over, they'd give them $700,000 more. $1.5 million split up between leaders that you've been following, going to jail for, crying crocodile tears for. And they're nothing but Frank James and Jesse James and brothers. Soon as they got the setup organized, the white man made available to them top public relations experts. Opened the news media across the country at their disposal. And then they begin to project these Big Six as the leaders of the march. Originally, they weren't even in the march. You was talking this march talk on Hastings Street. Is Hastings Street still here? On Hastings Street. You was talking the march talk on Lenox Avenue. And down on, Fillmore Street. And Central Avenue. And 42nd Street and 63rd Street. That's where the march talk was being talked. But the white man put the Big Six ahead of it. Made them the march. They became the march. They took it over. And the first move they made after they took it over, they invited Walter Reuther, a white man. They invited a priest, a rabbi, and an old white preacher. Yes, an old white preacher. The same white element that put Kennedy in power. Labor, the Catholics, the Jews, and liberal Protestants. Same clique that put Kennedy in power joined the March on Washington. It's just like when you got some coffee that's too black, which means it's too strong. What you do, you integrate it with cream. You make it weak. If you pour too much cream in, you won't even know you ever had coffee. It used to be hot, it becomes cool. It used to be strong, it becomes weak. It used to wake you up, now it'll put you to sleep. This is what they did with the March on Washington. They joined it. They didn't integrate it, they infiltrated it. They joined it, became a part of it, took it over. And as they took it over, it lost its militancy. They ceased to be angry. They ceased to be hot. They ceased to be uncompromising. Why, it even ceased to be a march. It became a picnic, a circus. Nothing but a circus with clowns and all. You had one right here in Detroit. I saw it on television with clowns leading, white clowns and black clowns. I know you don't like what I'm saying, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because I can prove what I'm saying. If you think I'm telling you wrong, you bring me Martin Luther King and A. Philip Randolph and James Farmer and those other three, and see if they'll deny it over the microphone. No, it was a sellout. It was a takeover. When James Baldwin came in from Paris, they wouldn't let him talk because they couldn't make him go by the script. Burt Lancaster wrote the speech that Baldwin was supposed to make. They wouldn't let Baldwin get up there because they know Baldwin liable to say anything. They controlled it so tight, they told those Negroes what time to hit town, how to come, where to stop, what sign to carry, what song to sing, what speech they could make and what speech they couldn't make, and then told them to get out of town by sundown. And every one of those towns were out of town by sundown. Now, I know you don't like my saying this, but I can back it up. It was a circus, a performance. It beat anything Hollywood could ever do. The performance of the year. Luther and those other three devils should get an Academy Award for the best actors because they acted like they really loved Negroes and fooled a whole lot of Negroes. And the 6 Negro leaders should get an award too for the best supporting cast.
Okay, that's just I'm gonna leave it there because Brother Malcolm X cut it with the sword, cut it with the tongue, cut the delusion, cut the lies, cut it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think his X meant for. Cut it. 2 swords. Both ways. X it out. 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay? So, concept. So, we see that he elaborated on that. And this is perfect for my live lesson that I'm doing after I've showed the other 2. Of their truth that they speak of another nation, which I'm not biased, I am not hateful, and I'm not racist. Oh, I will be using many people tongues of different nations. Different knowledge is written from different nations because I have a gift. I know to discern. I have it. I have it even with knowing the tongues. Okay? I'm humble because the simple fact is I gotta be. And I want to be. So I don't need to go off and go haywire with my knowledge and understanding and wisdom. No, I'm going to particulate it. I'm going to build upon it. And I'm going to let the world or anybody watching to use their own mind, their own intellect, their own resources as their ears, their mouth, tongue, eyes to see what I am saying or to examine my channel with truth. It's built upon absolute truth, okay? I'm not going anything outside of it. I ain't dealing with no delusions. I ain't dealing with no false realities, no false hope, no, none of that. I'm going to deal with the absolute truth from tongues to knowledge written down and the word. That's it. Because it's really simplicity when you have the gifts. But what makes it harder for people to understand this book and a lot of things of knowledge and wisdom is because they don't have the spirit. That's the sealment. That's placed for the believers. So no one can pretend to be a follower or believer. You're going to know. You're going to know. At the end, you will know. You shall see. Okay? So I'm not going to preach on that because I'm not a preacher. I'm not a teacher. I am an instructor. I'm only illustrating and instructing and presenting my pictographs, presenting my tongue to the world or whoever watches. Honestly, I am to my nation first. Okay, because that's what Brother Yeshua did. He goes to his nation first. I am for y'all. But I am not biased or racist. If a person is speaking truth of Gentile life, because I would show y'all how they can come in. Through my 5th video of Bloodline, you will see of everything I built upon or why I stated in the first beginning of the Purpose for Wisdom videos. Yes, they can come in. All right. So let me just jump right up into it. Right, guys. Hold on, guys. I titled this one Enoch, Mary Magdalene Controversy, Myth or Truth. In my live session, I will be speaking the mind. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I had the water right here where my I wrote my kind of introduction. All right. In my live session, I will be sparking the mind and spirit to seek the answer to the lost pieces of the good news to Israel of all tribes. I know in the awakening, some have concealed the knowledge of the truth for gain or worship of self. However, the scripture tells us that all things that were hidden or lost will be given into the world in the last days. The religion Christianity foundation was built off the stone, the woman. Not just any woman, but the black colored woman, Israelite. Okay? She would be an Israelite according to bloodline spirit. Okay? An Israelite. Not a Gentile, not a daughter of the Egyptians, Pharaoh, or Edom, or any of those titles that you hold up. It would be strictly off the heritage line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? Just saying that. All right. To destroy, but the black woman to destroy her household, meaning it's not just any woman, it was for the black woman to destroy her household. Why do I speak this? Because with her, dark sins is the understanding of all books of the Bible. Okay? And when I elaborate on dark, that's another fact that I want to throw out for any daughter of Pharaoh, because I've seen some of the women putting up wife of Jesus Christ, wife of Yeshua, bride of Christ. Some of the Edomites have went into the ancient Aramaic, some of the white daughters in my youth all over the world, because knowledge has increased. All right, he is revealing a truth. He is. I'm not mistaking that. But here is the way that I'll be giving it. Anything outside of this is not the truth to build upon. This is the truth of the concept that you guys need to build upon in the world. With any knowledge that you come across, understand this. It says dark sayings, dark, the spirit, understanding would be colored, dark woman. But it wouldn't just be, you wouldn't just know her by her skin complexion of dark or color. But it's also formulating just the basic concept that is a dark saying. It didn't say white saying, didn't say pale skin, it didn't say none of that. It said a dark sayings. Okay? So just gonna throw that out. Like I said, this is for to spark the minds in spirit that want to elevate, that wants meat, want to grow in spirit and not stay at a meek stage of a babe your entire life. We have to grow in spirit. This is why you can see 50 or 40-year-old men and women that don't have any type of knowledge of self, knowledge of understanding anything, have read the Bible, went to church all their life, but don't have it. And they're older than me, and I've only lived just just a short period of time. I'm going into my 30s in a few years, you know. So I am at a level spiritually that you can't see in the flesh. I know somebody made a quote. I'm going to probably try to find it. It says, don't underestimate anybody because you don't know their rank in spirit. So like I said, we can be deceived off the flesh in images all day long. This is what they built their world about, their construct about, and so on. If we don't understand how to break the witch hex that we're all in. When I'm looking right here in this camera, this is technology. This is white magic. This is witchcraft. So anybody that's claiming I am a witch or anything or what I'm using, when I get done with this, you're going to have to reevaluate your doctrine, yourself. Because this is not just a war of good and bad. This is a war between good and evil. It didn't say just bad. Hear me out. In the fruit, we ate of good and evil. So, man, know that and be humble. Do that give you excuse still to break the commandments? Love thy neighbor as thyself, brother or sister, no matter what gender. I'm only going to put this out one time. Like I say, I only speak about something one time. I let it come out my mouth and be spoken. Boom. And it shall not come back to me voided. You're God and he is you. So at the end of the day, when we're talking about these things, we have to understand our tongues speak life and death for one another. Not only the gods in their supreme authority, we can do it on ourselves and to our neighbors. So understand what you're articulating out your tongue, brother and sister, before you speak on something. But like I said, I speak on things one time. This will be a one-time subject that I will ever speak on this throughout my tongue. Okay? Because I don't like to talk a lot. That's not me. I'm not a talker being. I don't care to sit down 10, 15 hours a day. If I'm living this truth in reality life, it would not be, I wouldn't have the time to be on here all day, every day. I just don't. Because I have a life. I'm called to live too. I'm called to enjoy my life, to do things. But I'm just not forgetting my spirit. Now I want to place my spirit in the world. Now I want to do something entrepreneur, something self-employed I can do, something extra of feeding, not just my family, not just caring about my family no more. But as a nation, it's time for me to show the care and heart that I was given for my whole nation. I've done it for my family throughout my life. I do it for my husband. So why can't I be shared with my whole nation? So you know what? This is my way of giving it to y'all. Okay? And let me be with you soon. I hope so. But I have to put this out there because of the things and conspiracy and the being led wrong about things and being spoken lies about things that you just don't understand yet. And it's okay. Don't look at my age. Don't look at my gender. If you could be corrected, accept it. Because I'm accept it if it come back. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to, I'm sorry, I got a little bit out of my spirit right now, but I had to let the spirit move with that one just a minute ago. But anyway, back to my construct or my structure I was saying. But why do I speak this? Because with her dark sayings is the understanding of all books of the Bible. It did not state white sayings, but dark sayings. The oppressors were very wise as serpents to study her more than her counterpart. Why? I know some of y'all have already did on your platforms the Willie Lynch syndrome. I'm so tired of hearing that about probably the whole nation and circle on that for what, years and years and years. Okay. All right. Well, put the Willie Lynch syndrome concept that I just gave you. Okay. Y'all already read the books. Y'all already know. Okay. So here's the understanding. Okay. The oppressors were very wise serpents to study her more than her counterpart. Why? Because they had knowledge of old to understand our way of thinking, pictographs, our way of tongue, Hebrew language, and our way of life, agriculture. They knew the power source in spirit was the woman. So if they could give her religion, she would be, she would be in a perpetual servitude. They understood her strengths for labor. Okay. So they based the religion off of man and not nature. They gave her a religion in form of man, but not of nature. Okay. She could plant, crop, and raise children with principles to be great. So they made her be a housewife to care, cook, and manage their children. By doing so, the opposite happened to her children. They lost the way of their mother's principle of nature living. They took her bloodline children of her and made them the slaves and forced her to birth more of their seeds and care for them. Quote unquote, Jezebel's system of education. When she was taken from her God in garden, she became lost. Over the centuries, due to population control, miseducation, and religious doctrines. She was never created to be the lowest woman in the earth and without a husband of her kind. The good news was the bride, quote unquote, Israel, repentance from Jezebel lifestyle and becoming one with her husband, Master Yeshua. This is absolute truth. It was not for the good news to be turned into a religion, but a foundation for Israel. This is why the Father Raph in Revelation is going to the 7 churches who worship the black Madonnas behind closed doors. Okay, so now do we agree that Christianity was built on the faith of so-called Mary Magdalene? That was the first witness of his truth. In all 4 gospels, it is absolute a fact. All right? I'm being a clause right now. I'm cutting off at a clause in the subject to get us to kind of think right now. Let's think. So I am basically asking, can we agree that Christianity was built on the faith of the so-called Mary Magdalene? That was the first witness of his truth in all 4 gospels. This is a fact. Okay? If we can, and this is to Muhammad, not Muhammad, what's his name? Farrakhan, his wife. I would like to ask you, sister, because you did I think she did a he allowed her to speak a few months ago. I think it was 7 months ago. She spoke. And she said something about Mary Magdalene and a black woman in America. I remember the title slightly big. I ain't going to really look it up right now because I got to get on another thing. But to Farrakhan's wife, may I ask you, you calling on Allah, right, sister? If I can prove, have factual evidence and witnesses can prove the gospel of Master Husband, Yeshua, then we would have to say Allah, right? Okay, because your husband is what? The leader of the Nation of Islam? Okay, well, sister, I'm going to come to you woman to woman. I don't care about the men and what they do. But if they do want to send someone, send your wife, okay? Do not come try to check me as a man to a woman, because then you'll be operating in an infeminate spirit. That means you don't have no faith in your woman to articulate her own mind to the next woman. So what? If she can't, she can't. If she can, she can. I want to know for myself, do you understand, my sister? Or is this all a play show because you're following the man with the money? Do you know the truth of who she is? You're speaking on and you're using her title. You're using her image to relate to you as a black woman. But let me understand and let me tell you, I'm a black woman, okay? I don't even want to say I'm a black woman because I'm a copper-colored Indian woman, okay? That's ancient, that's old, that's in my spirit, okay? My forefathers. And this law is theirs. These commandments is theirs. It's not a Quran or no ally. I'm getting kind of burning up inside, y'all. Fire right now. Because I'm tired of these Jezebels and I'm tired of these harlots lying and following the ones that have destroyed our men. Okay? Look at me in my eyes. I'm not playing right now. I'm dead serious. Brother Malcolm, did y'all kill him? He has a daughter. He has a wife that's still living. Did y'all kill him? What did y'all do? Just know all will be revealed. And y'all ain't even got to tell me nothing. I know what I know. But I'm here to let you know. Can you tell me that you know Allah is not the God of the Hebrews? The Quran was plagiarized off the Bible, okay? So you're calling on Allah false God. Your husband's leading you that way, or you're leading him. It doesn't even matter because y'all won now. But I want you to come to me, sister, and tell me to my face. Don't put no man in it. Don't send them to me. I want to have a debate, and not even so much a debate. I want to talk to you as a sister, to a sister, and let you know that what you're using and what you're going against in the name that you calling upon is straight contradiction to the word. And anybody who follows that, any sister, you are my opposition. Do you not understand? I ain't changing my way. I'm not changing the path. And neither is Brother Yeshua. Neither is Master Husband. Neither are our fathers who created us is going to change their way. And I love y'all. I will want y'all to be saved. I will want y'all to hear this message, but you got to open your heart too. But what I'm telling you, sister, if I can prove the witnesses of the Mary Magdalene woman you're using image to relate to a black woman, what did she really have faith in? What was her real source? And it wasn't no Quran. It was not no Allah, okay? So I'm tired of y'all trying to play with me. I'm tired of y'all playing with our nation. I'm tired of people in here leading people wrong and astray off of their feelings, emotions, and what power they want. Because you want a big house. You can't struggle and get down with your hands. You can't get out here and plow. You can't hear and love your man whether he poor or not, but happy or not. It's sad. Because you can't do it. If you can't do it, sister, just say you can't do it. You got to live with this high profile. You got to live with these high clothes. You got to be seen as a woman that got a man that got this and got that. Look, I don't care about all that, man. I'm one woman by myself. I don't need all that to validate who I am in spirit because it can't be bought. It can't be bought. This word can't be bought. This spirit, this scarce wisdom, it can't be bought in this world. You are a fool. And they call you a foolish woman. Do you not understand this? You can't mix the world and the spirit. It's the spirit of the flesh. And you choose today who you're going to serve. Because Allah ain't the way. To any woman, Allah ain't the way. So if I prove Mary Magdalene, her faith, her witness and her testimony that brought all the New Testament scriptures and prophets backed her up, then we would have to say that Islam is the Antichrist. We would have to say Allah is the Antichrist. We would have to denounce that whole belief. That whole belief. It ain't done nothing for our nation. Brothers done killed Malcolm X. There wasn't no government conspiracy. Don't tell me that. As much as he was talking and doing speeches, they could have been killed them at the beginning if it was that. They could have been did that. Okay? So don't give me that crap. Don't give me that crap. Okay? So I'm just going to leave it at that. Y'all, I'm sorry. I just got crumped because I just felt the fire burning up in me that I'm kind of upset a little bit. I am. Because I have a right to be. I'm tired of people portraying stuff that they not. If you're not that, you're just not that. Stop playing Proverbs 31. Stop playing Mary Magdalene. Stop playing like you the wife. Stop playing like you the children of Israel. Stop playing because these scriptures are real. And what y'all speaking, y'all don't know y'all can awaken and interrupt. Y'all don't know what can happen with that tongue that you speaking of. So my nation apparently needs to be more humble. Because this ain't no joke. And this is my life. This is my life. This is no joke. These things and occurrences of past, present, and future are not a joke. And I don't think anybody should take it as one. Okay? So at the end of the day, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at to you as a sister. Okay? So if this ever get publicly or anybody want to take it back to them, coming on my page but not subscribing, getting my wisdom and not subscribing, not bagging me up, guess what? That's okay. Because when I get there, I'm going to remember who it was, who I went to, who I have sent, and who I've dealt with. I'm going to remember. Don't do that to me, brothers and sisters, because I don't do that to you. I have no problem with freely subscribing to anybody and listen to anything, whether I agree or I don't. But I got tired of supporting people and they wouldn't listen. I got tired of being able to come in. I don't care what you do behind the scenes, but I know what you mean through your words. Had one sister told me she don't need my kindness. She don't need my kindness. I don't need your kindness. I know who I am. I'm this and I'm that. Okay. It's a lot of what y'all around here saying y'all know who y'all are. Y'all this one day. Y'all Jezebel the next day. You're Mary Madden the next day. You're the bride the next day. You're all deep in the knowledge with no understanding. Guess what? That's okay. That's okay because I'ma still love you. Guess what? I strictly push the button and unsubscribe to her channel when she told me she doesn't need my kindness. Okay? Well, I don't need to be subscribing to you since you don't need my kindness. I don't need to continue to subscribe. For what? You're not even subscribed to mine. So if we're going to start even building each other up, y'all can't even do it with a simple concept through the internet. Subscribing to somebody's channel is free. It's free, right? If we all had 1,000 and 1,000,000 something pages and we subscribe to each other, ain't that helping? Ain't that building? But y'all can't even do that. So y'all telling me y'all really ready for the kingdom? Y'all really ready to come together? Y'all really ready for the wilderness? Y'all really ready for these things that y'all say out your mouths? Just because you disagree or you lack understanding about somebody else trying what they're doing? Hey, if it's true, we're speaking it. That's all that matters. If they speaking the truth, that's what matters. Now, if you want to correct them or error or something going wrong, I suggest you go to their email privately or go to their brother privately, as the words say. Don't be all putting and exposing everything on YouTube about these camp sisters, but you were in it. You were in it. And let me tell you this, some of women don't even got none of the things that a man can offer them in this lifetime, but are content and happy and dwelling with intense with their man. They don't have these fancy cars and clothes and things, okay?